What is good, everybody? Welcome back to Real Fan Sports. I'm here in the building with Nonpfixion. What's good, baby?
I'm good, man. How about yourself? How are you doing?
Life just couldn't be better at the moment, man. I mean, like, we had some great football in week 14. I'll tell you what, this is
We actually did.
probably
We actually did.
the craziest week. Like, it almost feels weird. Like, I know we talked to a couple of our buddies that are big fans of teams that are actually doing good, and they had a upsetting loss, and they're like, well, every team had an upsetting loss this week. So, like, we're just gonna say that week 14 was just bad luck. I mean, Miami losing to the Titans, Green Bay losing to the Giants, Chiefs losing. It was all over the place this weekend.
Yeah. Oh yeah, most definitely. And in some of those games that they lost, it's because the things we've been talking about this entire season are finally hurting some of these teams. Miami, your old line has been bad. You've just been having good luck this most of the season. Deal with it. That's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs, that's your fault.
Yeah.
That's Kadarius Toney. Point the finger at him, not the refs. I said what I said.
Well, the thing is, it's not a bad thing that teams go through bad periods like this at this point in the season because now you have a goal of knowing what you got to fix because playoffs are right around the corner. As a matter of fact, we're jumping into week 15 where we're going to go ahead and start things off with the Los Angeles Chargers, another struggling team, versus the Las Vegas Raiders, who just lost to Minnesota and tied the lowest scoring game in NFL history, 0-3. What kind of expectations do you have for this game, man?
Well, like I said, since the beginning of the season, I didn't have any real expectations, and pretty much I've had a great season. Like I haven't even tripped about this season because I didn't have expectations with McDaniels.
It's
And
always
so
nice to have that.
the fact that we're 5-8 right now is actually a plus.
I mean, I really did think it'd be possible for y'all to get above 4 wins. Like I really did. I thought five was like the threshold, man. They can sneak out another one against this struggling Chargers team who now losing their starting quarterback in Justin Herbert, all the problems that they're having. This is a winnable game for the Raiders at Allegiant Stadium. Who do you got?
Oh yeah. I mean, personally, I'm going with the Raiders just because I have no idea. Easton Stick is going to be the quarterback. I believe that's who they chose. He has pretty much zero real experience in the NFL. He has it in the preseason, but not in real live game time. Um, I feel bad for the Chargers. The Chargers losing Herbert again to a hand injury. I don't know if it's the same hand, but the fact that he's had an injury on his hand twice in this season.
Yeah, one was the left hand and one was the right. So he injured middle
what's
finger on the left hand and then index finger on the throwing hand. Tough luck for Herbert.
The initial injury was because of the Raiders. It was on the Raiders game, and now the second injury is right before they play the Raiders again. It's like,
that's
the
crazy.
world is trying to give us wins, and we're just not capitalizing on these games. Because in all honesty, if we played better, just a little bit better, we could already be 500 right now. We could be 500 right now.
I think so too. But I mean, I think I'm gonna go ahead and rock with you too, man. With the Raiders, I mean, it's a home game, struggling Chargers team, quarterback that you just don't know what's gonna happen. But those are the kind of games where the unproven or even unknown quarterback just comes in and just starts balling out. So we'll see. But I'm gonna go with Raiders as well. That'll bring us into a Saturday game. We're getting into that late part of the season where we're having double headers on Mondays, Saturday football. It's crazy. Saturday we're gonna have Vikings versus Bengals. Vikings coming off a couple struggling losses. Dobbs had got sent to the bench, and the Bengals Browning, who got hurt last game. I'm not sure what his status is for this coming game. He's actually been looking really good. Who do you got in this one?
He has been looking pretty good. From what I see on the page for them, I don't see him in the questionable status anymore. So he might be playing. I don't know. But Jamar Chase is questionable at the moment. Tyler Boyd is questionable. DJ Turner and Joe Bocci is questionable. I'm still going with the Bengals. I'm going with the Bengals. I think the Bengals have the better team. Even with the backup quarterback, I think Browning has performed very well in taking over for Burrow. I won't say you can't notice a difference because you can notice a difference, but at the same time, the Bengals have been missing a lot of key parts too while he's been playing. So I'm going with the Bengals.
I'll say one thing that they have done different that you can notice a difference is that they're actually playing with energy. And I don't think that's because Joe Burrow's gone. I think they're back to a gritty team. They fought their way to be proven and get to a point where people expect them to be great. And Now they're expected to lose, so they're like, nah, we're still it, son. Like we're gonna go ahead and do our thing. I'm gonna go Bengals as well. That'll bring us up to the next game at 3:30 between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. Colts had a very upsetting loss. Steelers sitting at 7-6, both of them, and this could be a big one whenever it comes to playoff consideration and holding on to that wild card spot. It's going to be at Lucas Oil Stadium. Who do you got?
It's one of those things where I think the Colts should win. And unfortunately, Steelers keep winning games that they should not be winning. They just should not be winning some of these games. And I don't get it. This team should not be, they should not have 7 wins. I'm sorry, Steelers fans. It is what it is. Take it how you want to take it, but this team is not good. It's just not, they're not good.
I mean, look, you still got Kenny Pickett back there. I'm not rooting for you. And even more, especially now that the fan base is trying to call for the head of Mike Tomlin, saying that they're ready to move on past him. It's like he's the only reason why y'all have wins right now at this moment. So I'm going Colts just for that reason. Like, please fire Mike Tomlin. Man, he will be picked up by lunch.
You know,
it's crazy.
Mike Tomlin will look great in either silver and black or black and gold. So either way, that man will look good in black. So
there you go.
Come on over, brother. Come on over to what you think.
Take your time. The food's right down here in the South. I promise you.
We'll take notes.
That'll bring us up to our late game on Saturday between the Denver Broncos and the Lions. One that I felt like at the beginning of the season, the Lions would just walk away with, but the Lions are starting to show a little bit of struggle. People are starting to figure out Goff. He's becoming a little more easily readable. He's trying to force the ball to his stars, which is normally a good thing, but not always in every situation. I don't know why they've gotten away from the duo run attack that they have used before, and it's starting to do all these like just dangerous, risky plays. I know Dan Campbell has kind of based his coaching career off of doing that, going forward on 4th and longs in places that you're not supposed to. I get it. But go out there and win football games. Because right now, this is looking like a team that's feeling a little defeated, going up against a team like the Broncos that are looking like they're trying to take that first spot in their division from the Chiefs.
Yeah, they definitely look like it. And right now, the way that they're playing, they probably can. I mean, the Chiefs have, of course, been defaulting on their game that they're playing week in and week out, making a little bit of mistake that they shouldn't be making, that they should have learned in practice to not make as a child playing football. But it's at the same time, when it comes to this game, Broncos versus Lions, Russell Wilson has actually looked a lot better this season. Goff has looked a lot worse the latter part of the season. He's been telegraphing his passes. He's, like you said, trying to force it into St. Brown. I watched parts of the last game, and part of the reason why the turnovers there is because he's selling his plays. You see where he's going automatically, and he's trying to force it into triple coverage, double coverage. It's like, what are you doing? You have a tight end wide open who's really good and has great hands. You're just not trying to use them in certain times.
I mean, and if
5 yards or more.
And if you can't find the tight end down the field, you got to check down in Montgomery or Gibbs that are ready to make a dynamite play. Yeah, I don't understand it. Look, I'm rocking with Broncos here, man. I'll tell you what.
I'm going Broncos,
this is where things changed for me with the Broncos was last week when Russell drops back to pass, gets pressured, steps up into the pocket, and just sends a absolute dime to Courtland Sutton. And I was like, oh, that's Russell Wilson. Got it. That's
I don't know what clicked. I don't know what clicked. I'm not even gonna say it's just this changing of the coaches. It has to be something else because the way he's playing right now is different than how he played last season. He doesn't look scary. Like last season, he looked scary.
I feel like they finally connected. I feel like it was roughy start to the relationship at first, but I think they're starting to figure it out. I think they're playing for each other again, which is really nice. That'll bring us up into our Sunday game where we're going to have the Chicago Bears facing the Browns. Browns rocking with Mr. Joe Flacco. Flacco, 6 touchdowns in 2 games. He's only 2 touchdowns shorts of being caught up with Kenny Pickett. And the Bears are coming off a great win against the Lions where Justin Field looked good. He was able to work the ball out to DJ Moore. I think this one actually could be pretty close. It's exciting versus, solid. You know what I mean? It's exciting being the Bears, solid being the Browns with that defense, with how they pound the rock, with how they Flacco being back there. He's a veteran. He might not have the arm like he used to, but he doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes. Who do you think has this one?
I'm gonna just try to go. I'm picking Bears. I think the Bears have the better leverage to win this game. I have seen what Flacco's done. Flacco's looked really good, but then I also saw that they put him back on the practice squad. I don't know if that is what took
I
place.
saw that too. I'm not sure what all that's. I think that's just like contract stuff, and he'll probably get picked back up tomorrow, but possibly. I'm not 100% sure. But so you saying you got Bears? You feeling the Bears on this one?
I'm gonna go with the Bears. Go with the Bears.
I like that. I like the exciting pick. But you know what? I'm going to go with the solid one, man. I think the Browns are just going to do their thing. It's all about containing Fields, getting pressure on him, something that the Lions were not able to do last week. And I think the Browns are going to be more successful at that. And then, we're not going to see that explosive game from Fields like we did. Next up will be between the Buccaneers and the Packers. Packers coming off of a devastating loss to the Giants, one that, man, they didn't look like they showed up to the game until the fourth quarter, and then their defense decided to stop showing up and then allowed DeVito just to get whatever the hell he won. Him and Robinson was something phenomenal. Buccaneers right now are tied in first place in the NFC South. Someone's fighting to take the worst division in NFL right now. Can the Buccaneers seal the win here and take that leap and stay in contention for the first place spot?
If they feed Mike Evans. The last game, Mike Evans caught the ball. He got thrown, I think, 3 times and only caught it once. And I'm like, what? This is the star of this team, and this is you don't throw to him? The man has Hall of Fame numbers.
Oh, he's a Hall of Famer. People that want to argue that he isn't, it blows my mind. As a Saints fan, we hear it all the time, like he's not Hall of Fame. How many years in a row has he had over 1,000 yards receiving with how many different quarterbacks, regardless of how good or how bad they were? He's the one consistent factor.
He's consistent, yeah.
My gut says Buccaneers will take this one. I'll be rooting for the Packers though, but I'm going to go ahead and say Buccaneers here.
I think the Bucs will as well, to be honest.
Next up, we'll have Texans versus Titans. Hopefully, C.J. Stroud will be back from concussion protocol. That way, he's able to play in this one. One that the Texans felt like they could walk away with, but I'll tell you what, there's new life in Tennessee. And that man, Will Levis, he's just bringing the energy. He has that underdog mentality. I was waiting to see if we'd see that out of him. Once he didn't get picked up, got dressed off in the suit with his honeys and his family, all dressed up to the tens, and then get sent home without getting a contract. And when was that going to show up? That anger, that I'm better than these guys. We saw it last week.
And he, man, like we talked about it. I was like, this man been in the gym. You can see it. The shoulders looking different.
Bro, dude got vascular and everything. He on that creatine.
I will say this: the person that people weren't sure when he showed up and actually played quarterback for the first time for the Titans, the person that he is now is a different person. And I like what we're seeing right now. I think this could be the quarterback of the future for the Titans. I like what we're seeing. And Stroud, I think Stroud might, I don't know if he's going to play this game. I don't think he's going to play.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play, to be honest.
If he doesn't play, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Titans. If he does play, I think I'm going to give a small edge to the Texans, but it's not one that I'm really comfortable saying, especially with Nico Collins being out, Tank Dell being out. It's going to be a tough one. So I'm going to go Texans if Stroud's in. If he's out, I'm going to go Titans. And part of me is kind of rooting for the Titans. We haven't done that all year. Part of me is kind of rooting for. I like that kid, man. He showed a lot of heart out there, and I'm obsessed with that. When you show heart out in the field,
I think the last real time we rooted for the Titans is when we saw them throw those interceptions in the AFC game. That's probably the last time we really voted for them, really was pushing for them. But I like Will Levis. I like what he's doing. Like you said, if C.J. Stroud is not there, I do give the leverage to the Titans. But if Stroud is there, I give them a leverage. But at the same time, fresh off concussion protocol, I don't know how he's going to be playing, and if he's going to be playing timid or he's going to play different. I don't mind whoever wins in this game. I don't care. Either one I think is a plus. Either one is a plus for me. But I would like to see the Titans win this game, to be honest.
That'll bring us up to Jets versus Dolphins. Dolphins coming up off of a upsetting loss. And then the Jets, I just don't know what to think about the Jets. Sometimes they play really good. Sometimes they play really bad. The only thing that's consistent really is that their defense is really solid. Zach Wilson, he's came out and said, "Oh, what's the worst they're gonna do? Bench me?" Like he just don't care. There's no passion in on that offensive side of the ball, and that has to hurt as a defensive player, knowing that you're going out there working your tail off, having to play most of the time or most time of the game being on the field because your offense can't stay out there, and you just have a quarterback that's supposed to be a leader that just feels like he doesn't care. I'm gonna go with Dolphins. I can't see him losing 2 in a row.
Yeah, I don't see them losing 2 in a row. Especially at home. If they were in New York, I'd go for the Jets. I 100% go for the Jets. But they're in Miami, so I'm going for the Dolphins. I think they're going to fix some of the inadequacies they had in the last game. And plus, Tyreek Hill was not playing for a bulk of the game.
Yeah, a good part of the game.
So I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
I like it. Next up is Chiefs versus Patriots. Talked about the Chiefs a little bit earlier, just having some struggles, man. Like it's definitely starting to bite them. The fact that they don't have a true number 1 wide receiver. Kelsey is starting to show his age, as we talked about before. And then, we kind of saw the dramatic side of Patrick Mahomes that a lot of people are saying was quite embarrassing. I mean, whether you're a Chiefs fan or not, if you take a look at it from the outside in, you know that it was a bad look for Patrick Mahomes. I get there's a lot of emotions out there, but it's a tough loss. It's a call that you don't like to be, alter the play, but it is the right call. So you can't be mad at something that is correct and obvious and something that was flagged before the touchdown happened. It was called a foul instantly at the snap. Yeah. So they'll be playing the Patriots. What you think about this one?
I mean, I don't see them losing to the Patriots, but it would just be sweet.
Why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep doing this? Not every time you do this, it ends up happening.
It's done on purpose. I mean, after watching the last game, of course, we watched it and saw how it fell apart at the end, and just the I don't know, the immaturity in Patrick Mahomes after the game to not only just shake this man's hand, Allen, after the game, like you're constantly talking about, offensive penalty, instead of just saying, good game, congratulations on beating us, you're just constantly blaming the refs when you know that Kadarius Toney was in the wrong.
Right.
He did it
several times. Right.
Yeah. The fact that they didn't tell you the first time, they were giving you the benefit of the doubt by not saying anything. They could have flagged you 4 other times or 3 other times. So, I'm gonna go. Chiefs should win. But I would love it
if yeah, I got Chiefs, man. I got Chiefs. Hey, but look, shout out Ezekiel Elliott, bro. Finally get a starting spot with Ramondre being out, and he balled the hell out. People slept on Zeke during the all the issues with not valuing running backs. He might be a little bit older, but that dude still got a little bit of gas left in the tank. He was a person that I would have liked to see in the Saints when we were trying to pick up somebody for a short contract. We grabbed Jamal Williams. Hasn't panned out quite great, but I did like Jamal. But Zeke still got it a little bit. Y'all got to stop forgetting. He was the main running back for the Cowboys last year. Pollard might have got all the shine, but Zeke was running the ball the most. Next up will be between the Giants and the Saints. And I'll tell you, quite frankly, as a Saints fan, I am dead scared of Mr. DeVito. I mean, really look, he's playing really good. They got a lot of speed on that offensive side of the ball. DeVito's shown that he's not afraid to take it off and run, and that is something that the Saints have struggled with, is mobile quarterbacks, and we have struggled with this for, a decade now, just about, it feels like. And if we can't contain them, we're going to have a hard time. The Saints were able to put up 28 points, but it was against a team like the Panthers who are just struggling. It's sad, sad to see it. But it's not like we walked out there and dominated, We won, and we won in a fashion that looked like it, but I was at the game and it didn't feel like it. Man, I'm rooting for the Saints so hard, man. But I'll tell you what. If I'm a betting man with those odds, with New Orleans giving 6, I'm taking the Giants, without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, watching DeVito play the other night, I was actually impressed. I was impressed by how he played. And the fact that you don't look at him as a running quarterback, but he has some speed to him. He has some speed, some agility. He has a first step. Like, he actually is not a bad running quarterback. You just don't see it, and the question marks I still have for the Saints defense is the scary part for me. because
Mm-hmm.
if he starts feeling himself, is what basically he did last game. When he starts feeling himself, it's almost like you might not be able to stop him. You know what I'm saying? Like if he starts
Feels
getting a
that
little
way.
cocky in the
Feels
game,
that way in moments. Yep.
he starts taking those chances, and he has a good arm. He has a decent arm, has great accuracy. I feel like the Saints should win. I do. But I've said that multiple times, and they have let me down
Yep.
like
Mm-hmm.
multiple times.
I'm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
right now, I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna say the Giants pull out the W in New
Yeah.
Orleans.
Yeah, it'll be crazy. I mean, the Saints have always struggled against the Giants regardless. We've had a lot of upset and losses. This was actually a game that I picked the Giants winning at the beginning of the season, even when I thought the Saints would be like a nine
Yeah.
win possibility, and I picked the Giants winning, and I'm kind of rocking with it. I mean, I'm rooting for the Saints, but I'm kind of rocking with it. The thing is, it's the most exciting thing for me watching DeVito play is watching a kid that never expected to actually like step onto a field in a starting role to be able to come in, be nervous, and then finally just being like, what's the worst that could happen? Like we lose, we're losing anyway. Like I have nothing to lose. Let me go out in style. Let me play my way, and let me just go and do this thing. And I'll tell you what, big shout out to DeVito. Big shout out to his family as well. They all at the game rocking it. He got his agent dripped out like a mobster. Love that. Next up will be in the NFC South, Falcons and Panthers. And after watching that Panthers game last week against the Saints, I don't even want to stick on this. Falcons.
I'm going Falcons. The Panthers just don't have what they need to win games, and that's just obvious. You fired your coach, and that wasn't who you needed to fire.
Yeah.
Falcons.
Next up, Commanders versus Rams. I'm gonna keep this one kind of quick too. We're kind of flying by. We took a little time at the beginning. I'm gonna go Rams, man. I really liking what the Rams have been doing lately. They're looking solid. Puka Nacua is having a resurgence. He had a great beginning half of the year, slowed down in the middle, and I think he's back on the fire.
Oh yeah, I agree. They've definitely had some actually pretty good games, and the Rams have looked a lot better the last couple of weeks. Puka and Cup actually have looked pretty decent. I'm gonna go with the Rams too. I think the Rams have what it takes. Washington has kind of been playing under what they should be. They're underachieving. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Mm-hmm. Next up, Niners and Cardinals. Can the Cardinals do the unexpected and beat a top-seeded team twice in one season? I don't think so.
No.
No. For love of God, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't... Yeah. Man. All right, Niners. Next up...
Yeah, I'm going Niners too.
Yeah. Finally, a fun one. Cowboys versus Buffalo Bills. Bills coming off the win against Kansas City. Although controversial, they were able to get the win. Wasn't an excellent game by either team, but Bills came up on top, whereas the Cowboys have been, man, they've been looking good. Dak Prescott for MVP possibly. CeeDee Lamb doing his thing. Pollard now, I think 5 straight games. All the touchdowns he's gotten this year has been in the last 5 games. He's had 5 straight games with a touchdown. Really good to see for him, and it's scary for the rest of the league. I don't really know if I see any team beating this Cowboys team except for themselves. I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
I do. I totally understand what you're saying. We're going to be in Buffalo in Orchard Park. It's going to be 36 degrees, nice and chill weather for a good football game. We got Cowboys who usually like to be indoors. I think Buffalo, after the last game, realizing that they were gifted one. They were gifted a game. And about time, because they've been on the end of a lot of bad calls from playing against the Chiefs. So I was actually happy that they got this one in their favor.
True.
To be honest. But I Dallas should not lose this. They should not. No. If they do, it's because of mistakes it's really small, dumb mistakes that they would make. They will make. It's not the Bills just playing outstanding. It's the mistakes they would make. I'm gonna go with Dallas as well. But if any little mistakes, Bills they're gonna turn it over. They're gonna get it.
I mean, I want to see the Bills turn it over. I want to see them in the playoffs. That's a big thing for me. I do like the Bills. I'm still rocking with them. I still want to see, Josh Allen get back into stride to how he was the last couple years. So hopefully all that will pan out and everything will be all copacetic. But that'll bring us into our Sunday night game, a game that was supposed to be really good, and it still could be very good, between the Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Trevor Lawrence got hurt a couple weeks ago. He played last week. I didn't get to catch that game, But I wonder how that injury is feeling now after playing another game, how sore he's going to be, and having to go up against the top team in the AFC, and probably one of my Super Bowl contending favorites.
Yeah, yeah. The Ravens are definitely the number one top dog in the AFC right now. It's hands down they are the number one. I mean, the last game they barely lost, but they lost to a backup, but this backup was a real starter in the NFL. So it wasn't like he's the backup from fresh out of college. They lost to Joe Flacco. Flacco is a good quarterback. I don't the Ravens should win this game. I don't see there being a true issue. The biggest thing that I still see with the Ravens is the fact that there's some situations where they're just not on the same accord with each other, and Flowers is a great receiver. Odell is a great receiver, but there's just moments where I'm like, what are you doing right now? Like, why are you guys making mistakes that you're making right now?
Yeah, there's definitely some clumsy drop passes and different things like that definitely are still getting worked out. My favorite thing with the Ravens right now is just watching Lamar just quietly dominate the league. People aren't even talking about it. It's great. He was the point of conversation anytime the Ravens had even just a slightly winning record. And now he's just doing it quietly, just doing his thing, going out there and win games. That's something that I think is commendable for him. Just to go out there, be quiet, go win games, prove it, go get your playoff, make it to a Super Bowl, and show them what you're really made of, man. I think the Jags still have a lot of work to do, and I think that's a big part of my reason for picking the Ravens as well. They do have really good moments, but they definitely still have some kinks to work out. Ridley's still not getting fully involved. Etienne just kind of getting taken out of the game plan for whatever reason. I don't know if that's because of poor offensive line. They don't trust their run block or what it is. I don't know, but I'm going Ravens.
I mean, last game, Trevor Lawrence threw 50 times.
That's
50 times.
Crazy.
And he was picked off 3 times in that game. They're doing too much, doing way too much. They're not utilizing their run game. Even if they don't just run Etienne, they have the backup who's actually pretty decent. Do a committee type situation. Don't just take him out the game. Don't take the run game out there. Like once you do that, your team momentum slows down completely because you're based off that because your quarterback's a runner. So you have to have a good run game if your quarterback's a runner as well. But the Ravens will probably win this because Trevor Lawrence, I like him a lot. I've been talking about him all season, but they're just not there yet. I thought they were at the beginning of the season, but they're not there yet. They're not there yet.
Yeah, I agree. And that'll bring us into our Monday night game where we will again be live here on Real Fan Sports. So make sure y'all come and check us out. We had a bunch of new people come and join us over from the UK. We had some people out in Australia come and join us, New Zealand, all that stuff. You are welcome to come and join us. Have a great time. We have some conversation. We talk about the game, do our play-by-play, but we also just enjoy sports and talk BS. So please come and join us. But this one will be between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Seattle Seahawks. Seattle's been struggling big time, but the Eagles have too. I feel like Eagles are going through a very mini identity crisis. I don't think it's even something that needs to be really stressed about, but I think it's something that needs to be mentioned in the locker room for them. It doesn't need to be mentioned out loud in all the broadcasts and everything, even though they're going to try and sell that, oh, they're not together. They're not, they're not clicking. They aren't what they were last year. They got to work on this internally and figure out where they're going wrong, where the miscommunications are happening, and why they aren't able to pull through on games. Some people are blaming offensive coordinator calling the bad plays. Some people are blaming Jalen Hurts' inefficiencies. Some people are blaming the drop passes. And I think a lot of people are blaming the defense for not being as star-studded as it was last year. In this game, the Eagles have to win it. They have to. This is their back to proven point to say, no, we're still here. Y'all might have saw us trip, but we ain't fall yet. This is one that they got to take, and they need to do it handily.
This is a part of the season for the Eagles where they need to sweep. There is no questions to it. They need to finish out the last 4, all W's. They cannot afford to have a loss on their record because they need to go in understanding what their offense is, but also the key for them is understanding what their defense is. That's where a lot of their issues have been. It's their secondary and their safety core. They've been playing poorly. They've been playing real bad.
Very poor.
Getting some penalties that they should not be getting. The offensive line has struggled, but that every offensive line at this time of the year is struggling with injuries. So that's just part of the game. But when it comes to this part of the season, that secondary is supposed to be the strongest thing you have. because it was good last year, but something's wrong this year. Something's totally off. I like Jalen Hurts. I like what he's done. I think he's still a really good quarterback. Of course, he's made some mistakes, but everybody do. No one's perfect. Eagles need to win this. I believe they will win this. Seattle just needs to play a solid game. Just play a solid game to prove to yourselves that you're a good team.
Metcalf's been balling out. He talked a little mess though, and he kind of got his mess talk right back to him last week. But he's been having a good game. Look, this is how I feel about this one for the Eagles. Last year they had a very similar situation, running through games, and then they hit a couple loss streaks, bad losses where they performed poorly, and a lot of what you just said. Issues on offensive line, issues with the defense, issues with Jalen Hurts not going to the right read. And if you've watched the Kelsey documentary, he talks about it. Jason Kelce says, "I'm not comfortable with comfort." He's like, "I don't like being comfortable and being able to just be like, oh, everything's working great." He's like, "I want that adversity. I want to feel like my head's in the dirt and I got to crawl my way out." That's what they're going to have to do here. I expect a big game, and I expect a blowout. If you're an Eagles fan and you're joining in for our stream on this Monday, you're hoping that we're talking about I don't know, car models by halftime, because this game is just blown up. That's what you're hoping.
Very, very true. Like I said, Seattle, they play New York, they play Cardinals, and they play New York again. This needs to be a sweep. There should be no questions.
Sweep. Not even close games.
Sweep.
You running through.
You lost the 2 games that one you probably shouldn't have lost. One for sure you should have lost, but you lost those 2 games against 2 of the competitors in your same division that are ahead of you. Right now, you got to prove it to yourself. You ain't proving it to nobody else, but you got to prove it to yourself. Sweep these teams. The teams are not on your level. They're not on your level.
Not
period.
Close.
And exactly. Please play Swift. Play Swift.
Jesus Christ.
I like Gainwell, but play Swift. What are you doing?
On, man. I'm telling you. But actually, I'm looking at it. Swift right now, and sorry, I know this is a little bit longer one today, but he has 178 carries for 822 yards. That is better than Etienne per carry. That's better than Derrick Henry. That's better than Tony Pollard. The only person that's better than him is McCaffrey, and I think we all could have expected that. So why have they stopped using him? That's the question. We need to figure it out. But we'll hopefully tune in on Monday with you guys and Thursday with you guys, and we'll figure it out together. Appreciate y'all for checking out our weekly predictions. Make sure y'all leave a comment down below whether you think we got it right, whether you think we got it wrong, who's your favorite team, all that good stuff, and we'll catch you next time. I'm Zach.
I'm Nonpfixion.
And we're out, guys. Cheers.
Peace out.